Previously on Gaming Legends, Dr. Neo Cortex wanted to build an army, but his general suffered from severe motion sickness and was dealt a discriminatory dishonorable discharge. The disgruntled dimwit decided to desert the domicile with a damsel and a dodo, but failed to maintain gyroscopic stability while doing so. Meanwhile, Cortex had a hoverboarding accident and decided to forego his ableist policies and rehire him. Which leads me to today's question. Can you beat Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back without spinning? Just like last time, our goal is to beat the Sane Trilogy version without ever using the spin attack. And as a bonus challenge, which is frankly just the main challenge in disguise, we're aiming for the maximum possible number of gems and the true ending. Let's get this run started, shall we?
Crash! My battery is fried! Make yourself useful, big brother, and bring an extra battery for me.
Oh, come on, we've been over this. It's a cutscene. You can just press X to... Oh. Seems Crash still spins even if you skip the cutscene. However, if we skip it before the camera cuts to Crash and Coco, the sound effect doesn't play. I think that's as close as we're going to get to subverting this spin, but either way, it occurs before we have control, so there's no use arguing about it.
Seriously, don't you have lives? Get a hobby!
Compared to Crash 1, we have a lot more options for how to break boxes and defeat enemies. Pressing the crouch button while moving will allow Crash to slide forward. This move is capable of interacting with all the same things as the spin, along with a few things that it can't. Sliding also lets us jump further and slightly higher, and even Crash's normal jump is floatier than the first game. There are two drawbacks though. It can't be used while at a standstill, and it's restricted to the ground. If we want to attack something in the air, we can use Crash's belly flop, but its horizontal mobility is virtually non-existent. The game itself is also much more open, allowing us to tackle the levels in each warp room in whatever order we like. Personally, I prioritized colored gems and secret exits, both of which lock other gems behind them. For example, Turtle Woods has the blue gem, which just requires you to avoid all the boxes. Hardly a challenge, spinless or otherwise. Snow Go features Penta Penguin's relatives who are not following the spinless rules and must be punished for it. There's also this crate at the top of a tall stack, which isn't easy to reach. Luckily, the belly flop allows Crash to land on a stack of 4 boxes like this. Hang 8 introduces the jet board, which doesn't let you spin while riding it. True, the instructions say to use the spin button to boost, but if you're that paranoid, you can use the jump button instead. The bonus round has a rather hazardous crate stack, but you can take out the bottom crates by sliding towards the background. We do need to play this level a second time to get the timer gem, but it's not too big a deal. The Pits is a relatively easy level, but it does have these turtles with saw blades. If you slide into one, it will retreat into its shell instead of being outright defeated. Luckily, a second slide will defeat it. Crash Dash is also simple until you get to the bonus round. This is a very familiar situation, a single box sandwiched between 2 iron crates. Sliding only affects the crate at the bottom of the stack and... Oh. Apparently, the colorblind programmer of Vicarious Visions was in charge of the slide hitbox. After a breezy reunion with Ripperoo, we now have the ability to play as Coco. If you've seen the Crash 1 video, you'll know exactly why this is helpful. Air Crash contains a death route, which is only accessible if we make it to the platform without dying. There's a piranha plant just before it that can't quite be jumped on from the lower platform, but there's just enough space to jump around it. We also get the secret exit here, unlocking the back door entrance to Snow Go. Taking this path gives us the red gem, which we can use to get more boxes in Snowbiz. And speaking of colored gems, the green one is found in the Eel Deal. However, this is the first level where the box gem is actually difficult. After the final checkpoint is a monkey bar section. While using monkey bars, you lose access to the slide and belly flop, making spinning your only attack. Even worse, there are 3 crates on the bars themselves, and Aku Aku Invincibility won't get us there fast enough. Luckily, the piping beneath us doesn't outright kill us, so we can damage boost off them to jump into the far crate, then quickly run back to solid ground. For the closer crates, we can jump into the one on the right, but the one on the left is ever so slightly beyond the stage boundary. I guess we have to... Ugh, I swear it was on silent. Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm not here to take your message right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Beep!
Told you we needed Coco. Crash Crush is mostly a simple affair except for the last 4 crates. They're on the edges of the level where the boulder can't reach them. Not only that, one of them is a reinforced crate which can only be broken with a belly flop. If you hit every single boost pad beforehand though, you should have just barely enough time to get them all. Bear It is an easy polar level, and the Komodo brothers can be damaged by sliding. Serves you right, Joe, you filthy spinner. Next is Plant Food, which we play twice. Once for the box gem, and once for the yellow gem by beating the time trial. Bear Down is another polar level, but this one has a secret exit that lets us get the box gem from Air Crash. Unbearable requires a tricky double slide to get past these 2 gates, but it's simple with enough practice. We also get another secret exit, which unlocks the final polar level, Totally Bare. Sooner or Later doesn't have any monkey bars, but it does have this wall to deal with. You can take it out by sliding into the sweeper, but if you miss, you'll have to damage boost off the TNTs. Road to Ruin has a death route featuring a game of Donkey Kong, and both the ape and his projectiles are vulnerable to spinning, but not sliding. Luckily, we can still bounce off him with a slide jump. After a breezy encounter with Tiny, we get to Hangin' Out, which features our old friend Monkey Bars. This time, there are 4 boxes hanging from them, spaced really far apart. But there's an Aku Aku crate in between them, and just enough invincibility time to take out the first 3. For the last one, damage boost off the ground, then quickly slide jump back up to the bars. From there, we can easily get the gem and the secret exit. Totally Fly is totally simple, but then we get to Diggin' It. There's a death route here with boxes on it, meaning you'll need to backtrack. Which means you'll have to deal with Barry B. Benson both on the way to the gem and on the return trip. Bees can only be killed by spinning or belly flopping, and the latter is less than practical. You'll need to take the absolute perfect route in order to dodge them all. I also recommend not doing the bonus round until after the death route. Bonus rounds act as checkpoints, giving you a bit of insurance. Do it all right, and both gems, the secret exit and the Road to Ruin box gem, are yours. Immediately after, though, is Behaving. If you thought bees were problematic individually, try dealing with them en masse. Normally, you'd hide from them by burrowing underground, but that requires you to spin, so we can't do that. When you get to this group of nitros, take out just the first box, then get to the other side of the pit. Once the bees retreat, go back for the 2 lone boxes. Leave the sack of 3 as the nitros will take care of it later. Spam slide jumps to outrun the rest of the bees, taking a small detour for the purple gem. Ruination has some more Donkey Kong and some stacks of reinforced crates, but nothing we can't handle already. Cold Hard Crash is infamous for his death route, which you have to do twice, backtracking on the second visit, but it's not much harder in a spinless run. Though the porcupines can still screw you over with the ice physics. As for the boss of Warp Room 4, I've got awesome news. Engine is even stricter about spinning than we are and turns the spin button into a throw Wumpa Fruit button for the entire battle. Piston It Away has another death route with boxes, but this time you can't backtrack out of it. I recommend stepping on the platform as soon as you reach it so it stays accessible, then killing yourself to get back out. Grab all the boxes on the main path, then get the bonus round on the way back. Make sure you keep this robot alive so you can bounce off it to get over the shrink ray. The death route itself is no more difficult than usual, and neither is Night Fight. The bonus round in Spaced Out features a 1-up and TNT sandwich with reinforced bread. We can slide into the 1-up crate with help from the colorblind programmer at Vicarious Visions, but be sure to run away quickly or risk getting blown up. You'll also want to slide jump past the shrink rays, though the margin of error already used them. And since we have all 5 colored gems, we can also take the gem path. The path itself is fairly simple, but if you did Spaced Out last, make sure you get this gem before the crystal. Rocket and Pack Attack are both jetpack levels, which... oh, hang on, something's not right here. That's better. When using the jetpack, your only attack option is to spin. But believe it or not, we can still break every single box in these levels just by flying into them from above or below. However, actually progressing through the levels is more troublesome. These Electro Lab Assistants block the entire path, only disappearing by spinning them twice to push them into the firewall behind them. There's only one valid strategy: being bad at video games. When Crash takes damage with an Aku Aku mask, he has a few seconds of invulnerability frames, during which he can also damage enemies by touching them. If we fly right up to the lab assistant while constantly moving forward, there's just barely enough time to push him all the way. Of course, these levels have 3 lab assistants each, and you can only bring up to 2 masks with you from other levels. Pack Attack has an extra mask you can pick up halfway through, but Rocket does not. If you remember from the Crash 1 video though, the game will give you extra masks if you die enough times in the same spot. And would you look at that? Not only do we have all 25 crystals, but also all 42 gems, putting our completion percentage at 97%. All that's left is the final boss fight against Cortex. It's a simple concept: chase him down with a jetpack and damage him 3 times before he escapes. Unfortunately, the only way to damage him is...
You fail.
Yeah, seriously, there's just no way to finish this fight spinless. We can't use invulnerability frames like the other jetpack levels because there's nothing that can damage us. The mines and asteroids just slow us down a bit, and they have no effect on Cortex himself. And even if they could damage us, we're not allowed to have masks in this level anyway. The last time we had an impossible Cortex fight, we could skip it with the 100% ending. But that's not an option this time, because to get the 100% ending, you need 100%. Cortex himself is worth 3%, meaning we're eternally stuck at 97, preventing the elevator from going to the roof to trigger the cutscene. We could theoretically get another 2% from the gold relics, but the Warp Room 5 levels are closed off once you get the last crystal, only reopening when you beat Cortex. Even if we had the foresight to do all the relics as we went, we'd still be at least 1 relic short. And that isn't to say we could get all the relics in the first place, because Rocket and Pack Attack are impossible without access to masks. Looks like the Crash 2 Spinless run ends at literally the last possible moment.
I won? Quick, somebody take a screenshot.
But regardless of that little detail, this was still a fun challenge to try. Certainly more active than the Crash 1 run. I've uploaded the run to my archive channel, which you can check out by clicking the card on screen. I will still be trying to find other ways to trigger the true ending, but for now my efforts will be spec'd on the next challenge run. That's all for now, and I will see you down under.